I know what you're thinking. You are not throwing that pumpkin away in the landfill this year. I don't want any excuses. You go grab that pumpkin off the front porch and we are turning it into pumpkin cheesecake. 100% of the pumpkin plant is edible, so we're gonna give that a good rinsing in the sink and blanch the pumpkin guts and all for 2 to 3 minutes. Pull out your favorite blender or food processor and give that pumpkin a nice blend. If it's getting stuck along the way, we can add a little bit of water to help make that more fluid-like. And we just keep going until we get the consistency we like. And now we're halfway done. We have our pumpkin puree and we just have to make the cheesecake. While 100% of the pumpkin is edible and it's completely possible to make pumpkin cheesecake, I'm also 100% convinced it's impossible for me to cook correctly. Most cheesecakes have a graham cracker crust, but I didn't have any graham crackers, so I used flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. Except I added double the amount of eggs you were supposed to add. Instead of 1 egg, I added 3. So instead of a pie crust, I had a pie soup. Then I also wrongly assumed that you were supposed to cook the crust, mainly because it was soup. And I was like, there's no way this is going to be a crust. If I pour liquid on liquid, it's gonna just be a mixed liquid. So I threw it into the oven for about 5 minutes and then consulted my recipe and realized it was not supposed to be cooked and pulled it back out of the oven. Meanwhile, the cheesecake filling. While I did get the pumpkin puree to the consistency and texture that I was hoping for, it got really, really watery along the way. And I don't know if the cream cheese melted too quickly because of the warm air from the oven, but the cream cheese filling was also a soup and a very gross looking soup. It did smell wonderful though, which was the only reason I kept on going. I am glad I did, because while I would not say that this is in any way a cheesecake, it is really, really good. I mean, it's basically just sugar and cream cheese, so how could it not be good? Most comparable food I've ever eaten to this would be French toast that you leave in the refrigerator overnight. If you're a texture person like me and texture is really important on your food, that is what this texture is. And I mean, it tastes like pumpkin French toast. So it's really the best way for me to describe it. I 10 out of 10 recommend. I will be making this again. And if you end up with extra pumpkin puree, you can just put it in the freezer and make other things like pumpkin pancakes maybe.